Namaste, and thank you for joining me tonight. For those who don't know me, my name is SAHIRA ANAISA Al FENICE, and this is my show, A Little Hint of Magic, airing every first and third Fridays of the month on the Magical Witchy World channel. Please tune in. So let's get to it. Tonight's topic is eliminating your retrograde fears. We'll discuss what is a retrograde, dispelling common myths about retrogrades. How are we affected by retrogrades? What are the effects of each planetary retrograde? And then lastly, we'll do a little blending demo that I created. And this will be to make your eliminating your retrograde fears personal inhaler. I'll try to answer relevant questions at the end if there's enough time. I invite everyone to DM me any topic requests, questions, things of that nature via IG. You can reach me at A Little Hint of Magic. Again, that's magic with a CK at the end. Please remember that. So, what is a retrograde? Retrogrades have been misunderstood, bearing a bad reputation in popular culture. We all know every time it's like something bad happens or something not so great happens, we're like, "Oh my gosh, are we in Mercury retrograde?" That's a big thing. Even I do it sometimes, and I fall into that. Few folks actually understand what retrogrades really are and what meaning they hold in our lives. The word retrograde truly means backwards motion. Planetary retrogrades do appear to be moving backwards in the sky. Please note that I said appear, right? With all the quotation marks, right? Actually, retrograde planets don't slow down, stop, or change directions. During a retrograde, our perception becomes altered and planets appear to be moving backwards based on their speed and distance from the Earth. Each planet moves at a different rate, and it is believed that each vibrates at a different frequency, influencing how we think, how we act, how we feel. Although planets in retrograde can feel like a step backward, they are a sacred necessity for our individual journeys moving forward. So, dispelling common myths about retrogrades. Although we really only talk about Mercury retrogrades, all planets go through a retrograde period. All planets, including Pluto, that is not considered a planet anymore. I think a dwarf star or something like that. I forget. It's later on. We'll talk about that. And as I previously mentioned, retrograde planets don't slow down, stop, or change directions. It's our perception that is altered, according to their speed and distance from the Earth. So really it is our perception of the way the planet is moving that is making that backwards motion appear, but they're really not moving backwards. So how are we affected by retrogrades? And yes, all living creatures are affected by retrogrades. Sometimes we may even feel as if we're moving backwards, like issue with tech, communication gaps, relationship issues, you name it. Experts recommend we use this time to focus on the past in order to move forward during any retrograde. We are encouraged to reevaluate, rethink, and redo. Doing this work will position us for positive manifestation, and real talk will help us to stress less during these retrograde periods. So, what are the effects of each planetary retrograde? First, the one that we all know and talk about, Mercury retrogrades. Retrograding 3 to 4 times a year for approximately 3 weeks at a time, the planet of communication encourages us to think critically about how we're perceived and how our words affect others. At this time, you should exercise caution communicating, traveling short distances, and signing any important documents. Check and double check your work. And beware of failing tech. Always have a backup during this time. Venus retrogrades, retrograding for 6 weeks, about once every year and a half. The planet of beauty, love, and money asks us to reconsider what we find beautiful and reflect on how we open our hearts to love. We're encouraged to face challenges in our relationships and be honest with ourselves and our partners about what we need. During this time, avoid making big purchases and big changes to your home or appearance. Once Venus moves direct again, we'll be able to see things with clearer eyes. Mars retrogrades, retrograding about once every 26 months, lasting for about 8 to 10 weeks. The planet of energy, drive, and desire is the rarest of the planetary retrogrades. Our drive decreases, making it easy to lose momentum during this time. Finding motivation to complete tasks becomes difficult at this time as well. So please do not overcommit yourself. Actually, try to do the bare minimum if you can. This is a time for resting and recharging your batteries. So once out of the retrograde, you can move with a refreshed attitude. Then there's Jupiter retrogrades, the planet of luck, knowledge, and abundance, retrogrades once a year for about 4 months. When this greater benefic moves in its normal direction, we become more aware of our blessings and opportunities. Jupiter retrogrades encourage us to find creative ways of serving our communities. We can manifest our ideals and evaluate how we can better uplift those around us. Then there's Saturn retrogrades, the planet of wisdom, structure, and discipline. Retrogrades once a year for about 4.5 months. During this time, we're motivated to make our own rules. We may also face some difficult karmic lessons that will help transform us into more responsible humans. Saturn's retrograde isn't all doom and gloom, however. Putting your best foot forward during this time will be able to reap rewards when Saturn goes direct. So, again, this is a great time because you'll be able to reap those rewards once the planet goes direct. Uranus retrogrades, the planet of innovation, technology, rebellion, retrogrades for 5 to 7 months out of the year. During this time, the impetus to inspire change is born out of the frustration of the status quo. We're encouraged to set ourselves apart from the crowd and tinker with new ways of thinking. Our legacies and how we will be remembered is an important factor, and we become eager to make our mark. This transit allows us to apply what we have learned in order to evolve into our next interaction once Uranus turns direct. Neptune retrogrades, the planet of dreams, fantasy, and illusions, retrogrades for 5 to 6 months annually. During this time, the veil is lifted, opening our eyes to see things for what they truly are. Ultimately, we're inspired to face reality and protect ourselves from outside forces. Once Neptune is direct, we can experience a heightened sense of creativity, reconnecting us with our inner artist. And then there's Pluto. Although considered a dwarf planet now, Pluto does retrograde. The planet of overseeing death, rebirth, and the subconscious retrogrades between 5 and 6 months each year. During this time, secrets are uncovered, making us aware of power imbalances and forcing us to face some difficult truths. At this time, we're encouraged to contemplate our role in society and whether or not we like the people we've become. Once Pluto goes direct, we're asked to shed what does not serve our highest good in order to start creating a bright new future. So now it is time for our blending demo. where we create the Eliminating Your Retrograde Fears personal inhaler. I know I say this every time we have a blending demo, but this is so important for you to understand. Scents are a powerful way to shift mindsets. Scents help to ease our fears and discomforts. I'm going to share a little recipe I came up with that I hope will inspire you to chill and release those retrograde fears. So, what we need one blank personal inhaler. You can use either disposable or reusable inhaler. I like these disposable inhalers. Here's the unit and the what we call the butt of the unit, right? Um, then you need a piece of organic raw cotton or an unbleached polyester wick. And they usually include these things when you buy the blank inhaler. So you can either take a piece of organic cotton or make your life a little easier and use that polyester wick and just throw it in the inhaler. Makes it a lot easier. So, with essential oils, we need to use 10 to 12 drops. And you can use any combination of the essential oils we're going to be discussing below, just as long as the total amount of drops equals 10 to 12 drops. One thing I like to do is take a cotton round and place a drop of each essential oil, smelling the mixture after every drop. That will inform you on the proportion of each essential oil for your composition. The best way to determine what your final blend will work out to be is to keep experimenting and getting to know how different essential oils complement each other. So, the oils we're going to use are frankincense, which uplifts the spirit, lavender, which promotes relaxation and calms stress, sweet orange, which eases anxiety, anxious thoughts, and brings warmth, optimism, and emotional lightness. Rosewood, which calms stress and promotes open hearts. Sandalwood, which encourages feelings of calmness, self assuredness, and positivity. And lastly, ylang ylang, which removes stress to promote feelings of harmony and inner peace. So we need access to the wick. I already dropped it in my personal inhaler. And what you can do is you can use either a small glass dish to drop in those essential oils and then throw the wick in there and kind of swirl it around and use a pair of tweezers and then pop it in, your blank inhaler. For me, I don't like to waste a single drop of essential oil. So what I do is I just put the wick in and I go to town and I start dropping oils in there. So first we're going to do frankincense carteri. So we don't have an orifice reducer here, so I need to use a pipette. Take a little bit of the oil, right? And I drop it. 1, 2, 2 drops. Make sure to close after you use each oil because they're precious and you do not want to waste. So next is lavender. And I have my lavender essential oil here, Lavandula gustifolia, 2 drops. 1, 2, 2 drops. Then we have our sweet orange. I love the smell of sweet orange. It's just so uplifting and it's energizing in a gentle way. Yummy. 2 drops. Awesome. Let me close this. And then we have rosewood. Rosewood tends to be a heavier scent. The resins tend to be a little heavier. They're more base notes. So I'm just going to use one because I don't want it to overwhelm my blend. 1 drop. And then we're going to use sandalwood. Now, hopefully my sandalwood is warm enough because, it can take forever. It's a thicker oil. So it can take forever to drop, but it's so wonderful. With sandalwood, we're doing 2 drops. So we're just going to give it a moment. We're going to let it flow. Let me encourage it a little bit. And again, please bear with me as I try and get these drops in here, because sandalwood is a thick oil and I didn't think about that, or I would have used a pipette in order to get it going. Looks like it's about to drop though. And luckily it's only 2 drops. Yes, there's one. Boom. And there is another one on its way. So with thicker oils, what you can do is you can remove the orifice reducer, and use a pipette, and it makes your life simple. Um, I forgot about that, but there we go. And then there's one ylang ylang. Oh, this bottle is tight. Please give me a moment. So ylang ylang, just 1 drop. Again, this is a pretty heavy oil, so it overwhelms really easily. So that's why I'm only using 1 drop. 1 drop. Awesome. So then next what we do is we take the butt of the inhaler, which is this here, and we snap it closed. Now, I'll probably have to do this on my table because it gets a little hard to close. Of course. There we go. It snaps shut, right? Once securely closed, what I tend to do is roll the inhaler between my hands, speaking spells or prayers of intention to release my fears so that I can positively manifest and evolve, right? So just speak your intention, right, into the inhaler. Now we take an inhale. Let's take a whiff and see. Oh, this is beautiful. Every time I try it, I'm like astounded at how beautiful the fragrance is and how it immediately resets and calms me, puts me at ease. So, one thing I want to advise you of, we talk about safeties. I want to advise you of one thing. Never, ever, ever with anyone share your personal inhaler. I don't care if they're your significant other. I don't care if they're your sibling. I don't care if they're your parent. I don't care if they're your children. No, we don't. We don't. That's sharing personal inhalers is just a bit too yucky for my taste. I just can't. So please try to be safe and hygienic. If you want to share this aroma with others, something that you can do is to use a room diffuser and just, take the same blend, use the same drops, and stick it in a room diffuser. Or you can even, put a lower amount of drops. I usually like to, I have a big room that I diffuse in, so I'll do 10 drops. But some folks prefer to do only 5 to 6. So it depends on you, the square footage of the room where you're diffusing, all that good stuff. And again, always remember when it comes to children under the age of 5, especially babies, pets, make sure that pets have an escape. So just in case if they don't vibe with the fragrance, because pets have a different type of olfactory, um, I prefer to leave the door open so that my doggies can run out. If you have dogs, cats, or any other pet companions, just make sure that they're able to escape. And when it comes to children under the age of 5, especially babies, don't have them in the room while the fragrance is diffusing. What I would do is diffuse for about 5 minutes, turn it off, and then it's safe to allow children to be present in the room. You don't want to overwhelm their senses with these fragrances. Just be safe. So, as we come to the close of our time together, I invite you to stay connected. Please feel free to reach out with questions, share insights, or suggest future topics. Your voice is an essential part of this space, and I truly value hearing from you. You can connect with me again on Instagram at A Little Hint of Magic. That's magic with a CK at the end. Always remember that. Thank you for sharing this time with me. I look forward to gathering again on June 5th at 7 p.m. Eastern. Wishing you a beautiful weekend and blessed be. Thank you.